the good.
Kibaki did very well on the infrastructure. The water, the free maternity that we started, even during the SGR there. That was really transformative.
The bad.
You are a very vocal and strong member of the Jubilee party. When exactly did the rain start beating Jubilee?
You cannot start a project for 5 years and then just when everything is picking up, then now you start a new game. It is not the way to run a government. It's not even the way to run a kiosk.
And the plain hard truth.
The president was misled by people who gave him the wrong model for implementing, things. Most of them didn't have any experience. In America, contractors who are doing public infrastructure projects are paid not every week, every Monday. 5 wasted years. But it will reverse us so many years because it now reverses or even the trajectory that Kibaki left us with.
This is the Jacque Maribe Show.
Indeed, and welcome to this edition of the Jacque Maribe Show. And we have the honor to host Gatundu South Member of Parliament, Moses Kuria. Thank you for joining us on the Jacque Maribe Show, Moses.
Thank you, Jackie. Nice to see you.
Nice to have you.
Good to see you are going strong. Thank you.
Going very strong. So are you, Mheshimiwa?
I'm okay. One thing at a time. Doing what I love doing best.
Yes.
Just out there, being with people and serving people. Yeah.
All right. Now let's kick it off with, as I said, Gatundu South Member of Parliament, but having come in through the ruling party, Jubilee. But now you're not so jubilated anymore, Mheshimiwa.
No one is. Because I said it when we were going to the Juja by-election. Jubilee is dead as dodo. I still maintain my stand. Jubilee is unfortunately on its deathbed. And the inevitable will happen, that new formation will happen. It is sad because many people would have thought that Jubilee will break that culture of parties coming, forming government, and then new parties, coming. Kibaki came in 2002 with NAC, 2007 with PNU. Uhuru officially on record 2013, he was TNA, 2017 Jubilee. So I thought 2022 will start a new culture of parties surviving what I call infant mortality. But it will appear that you will need the first lady to start a beyond zero for parties because of the high infant mortality. Parties dying after one electoral cycle. So it is inevitable it will happen. It saddens me.
It saddens you. You are a very vocal and strong member of the Jubilee party. When exactly did the rain start beating Jubilee?
I think the rain started beating Jubilee immediately in the second term. And it's not about the handshake and that. First, it was changing the course of the agenda that we started. Because it is, I have studied management and I've practiced management at local and international levels. You cannot, 5 years is such a short time. I'm a professional project manager. You cannot start a project for 5 years and then just when everything is picking up, then now you start a new game. Because, you cannot roll out a program in 5 years. So to try and bring in new things on year 6 of the administration was wrong. And it was impractical and it was unworkable. So because we had our program on the transformation, which started in 2013, Kibaki did very well on the infrastructure. We started building on that, on the 10,000 kilometers low volume project all over the country. We started on the electrification. You could remember the President Kenyatta or Deputy President in the small nyumbas and manyatas, switching on electricity. That was really transformative. The water, the free maternity that we started, even during the SGR there. So we were on that trajectory of the basics, curing the basics, which was very, very important. Now in the second term now, we start a program which clearly is a very long-term project. And it was not coming as an add-on. It came at the expense of these other projects. And then our budgeting became confused. I was in the budget committee. Our budgeting became confused. You can't tell what is required for short term and for long term. So our planning got just so muddled up. It is not the way to run a government. It's not even the way to run a kiosk. Even a kiosk will collapse. So it is, for me, it is not surprising that things have gone the way they have gone, because I saw us losing it on the planning level. That you are starting to know, you now want to do the Big Four on top of a program that was already running, and Big Four, will suck up all the resources and the attention and the focus. So that confusion in the planning, and how did it happen? Because of they started by bastardizing politicians. Oh, and they convinced the president that his enemy number one is Mr. Politician. Yeah. So now you let go of the politician, and you have got all these, technocrats. And there's nothing wrong with technocrats, if only they were experienced. But most of them are now rookies, picked from here and there, from private sector, very high pedestal, others from abroad, high pedestal jobs, which is okay. I remember when some of them came for vetting in parliament, I warned them, are you aware of the kind of terrain you are coming to? So the problem of application of the ideas that they had the knowledge and the ideas, but the whole issue of implementation and application, was another thing altogether. We are where we are because of something called, application or execution, implementability of ideas. When now you remove it, because the politician at least was a link with the people in terms of, I want to do this water project, so he knows exactly, how it needs to go there and how the people are going to take it. I'll give you an example. One of the things that, for my constituency, why I have fast-track development, is because there is zero compensation. Nobody gets compensated. And I went around. I said, let me not hear someone asking because we want to do a road here or another or a water project here and pay me for my land. We remove the issue of compensation. I see in other areas projects getting stalled because of compensation. Who else can a technocrat go and tell people you not be compensated? But me, Mr. Politician, I can do that. So I am the best partner for government to implement this. But now, when people went and told the president that your problem is politicians, I can see every time the president sees politicians, he gets nauseated even. I actually feel there's a risk of him vomiting when he sees a politician.
Is it that bad?
It's that bad. He really, really hates politicians. And he's been convinced that the biggest, pest or, repugnant animal in this country is politician. So because of that, now we try to use technocrats to do the work of politicians. So the synergy that we had in the beginning, even on terms of government perception and the way government is being bad. I remember in the first time I had a meeting with Manoa ICPSU every Wednesday with a group of politicians. Kimani Shong was in that team. Wambuku Ngujiri was not even a member of parliament, he was in that team. And we were meeting in State House every Wednesday without fail to look at how we can be able to have a linkage between government agenda and and the people, and the public perception, and the media. So it was one team because you need all that to drive your agenda. When you try to imagine that now you are the one who knows everything, this is a medicine that is good for you, you will take it. It's okay, but now the problem is that can only work in a zoo, not where you're dealing with animals. But as long as you're dealing with the human beings, you must carry people with you. And to carry people with you, you need a multifaceted team of Mr. Politician, Mr. Technocrat, Mr. something else. So together, we are able, even Mr. Religious man. Yeah, because sometimes all that is required to carry development agenda. But now trying to put development agenda without all that is trying to put surgery without anesthesia. It is not possible. Our work is to provide anesthesia at this painful government program which have to be done, like doing a road without compensation, can be able to happen. So that in a nutshell, is really what happened. So the president was misled by people who gave him the wrong model for implementing, things. Most of them didn't have any experience. At least some of them had government experience. And they are the reason things still, move. When I see my good friend Joseph Kinyua, Sometimes it's giving some hope. Because at least he knows what works, what doesn't work. But the likes of Kenya are totally overwhelmed. They've been run over by these know-it-all, ex-private sector people who have told him, forget about Mr. Politician, and forget about all these people who know about the ground. Forget about all these established civil servants like Kenya and the rest. So it's overwhelming, an overwhelming government of rookies who have no idea about how things work, where we are dealing with the public and with the people. Because it's not easy, my friend. It's not easy. Running government is a serious business, especially in a country like Kenya with our challenges and our problems. So I've seen so many things go wrong, things which we were managing before. The president was much more, accommodating. In fact, I remember in some years past, I remember when in the new constitution 2010, and then 2011, under the new now constitution, there was a first budget in 2011, and Uhuru Kenyatta was the Minister for Finance, and the Parliament that time, led by one Elias Bao, said the new constitution does not provide for you to read budget speech, and it was he was the Minister for Finance. It was a big hour, and we sat as his team. I remember we sat in his house with his team, and he said, "I don't want technocrats here. Mnyamaze." I remember Kamau Duga, shut up. Anu Igoro was there, shut up. I want to listen to rookies in terms of who have got the street. So because we want to connect with the people. I said I want to listen to people like Sakaja, Moses Kuria, etc. who now will give me that perspective, and then we merge it with now what the technocrats was. He was very accommodating. He loved that other, that other perspective, that, and that's how generally we had a successful, generally we had a successful, first term. Now this other second term now, not listening to each other, not looking at our fiscal situation, come up with solutions. Jacque, you've come up with solutions which pain me that. Let me give you an example. One of my pet subjects, I was a deputy chair, I was a vice chair of the transport committee, and me coming from the finance background, I knew I had to give my contribution. And I was always pained by the way we finance our roads, specifically our infrastructure, whereby we wait for money from the exchequer, and then that money we pay contractors, so that when the money is not coming from tax collection and all that, then you find roads all over the country, contractors have abandoned the projects, and that's exactly what's happened. So I sought to cure that, and I passed amendments to the Kenya Roads Board Act to provide for Kenya Roads Board using our fuel levy, raising bonds, money from financial markets, from capital markets to to issue bonds. The way Kenyan would issue bonds, so you don't see a Kenyan having a crisis. So I wanted us to issue bonds of up to 400 billion, 500 billion, and then using our fuel levy, we can now pay. That's how it happens all over the world. Nobody finances infrastructure from tax collection. It's like waiting for your chicken to lay the egg for you to start making breakfast. It is not possible. And that's exactly what I was trying to avoid. So I passed this wonderful bill, and I thought now, this would have really taken off this country. Because you can imagine infrastructure projects happening. What's happening now within the first, we are now in month 6 or 7 for Joe Biden. His pet project is what I'm saying. The infrastructure deal is now negotiating. Because you need to get the consensus of everybody. If you have to borrow one against revenues which you can see, like the fuel levy. If you have to borrow, who would complain if it is borrowing to finish all the roads in Murang'a and Kakamega and Kiambu and Mombasa? And then that will translate into more consumption. Contractors will now buy fuel and all that. Then as they buy fuel, more taxes will be paid. So it's such a boost to the economy. After I passed the bill in Parliament, so some wisecrackers from Parliament, from Treasury say, you know what, we can't allow Kenya Roads Board to do this. This is a traditional rule of Treasury to do that. So kill the whole thing. Now we are back to zero. Now no road project is happening in this country. Now we are back to that medieval actually. medieval methodology of financing our infrastructure. In America, contractors who are doing public infrastructure projects are paid not every week, every Monday. So there's predictability of their revenue, so they can, as long as you work, you raise your certificates, you are paid, work happens. So for me, I told Masharia, me and you are from the banking world, so we know what this means. Yes. Yeah, the CEO of Kenya Rosebowl was my classmate in the business school, Mr. Rashid. So it's something which we know very well. But because we have got this culture, even if Parliament passes something, who cares? You know, because of this disdain for politicians. So I can talk and talk about how things were good, how things have gone bad, how we don't listen to each other, we don't assimilate new ideas. Because I was not raising those that are built to help myself. How was I benefiting as Moses Chris person? It's to help the country, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people have come up with wonderful ideas and advice on how to move various sectors forward. This is not the only sector. Me, I just took one where I was having, but it is same. The cases are replete everywhere about when we started to help our own government, our own party, to move things forward. But who would listen? Because mwanasiasa kazi yako ni kunyamaza. So that's why even by the time now we came to the handshake. The handshake was supposed to facilitate, because we were used to this listening to each other. Not because somebody was preparing for an era where you don't listen to each other. They had to compensate with that something. That was a handshake. So that now, even if you make noise, why are you not doing things the way we are doing? Why are we not listening to each other? Why are we not doing roads the way we are saying? Why are we not assimilating ideas? Why are we not creating a team that's moving together, all of us? No, shut up. Even if ukicheza, si Gladys Wanga is there, she will take your possession. See, there is Otiende Amolo, she will take your possession. So shut up. So now we said, okay, so even how we were used to contribute ideas, help government, develop government, it is 5 wasted years. But it will reverse us so many years, because it now reverses all even the trajectory that Kibaki left us with. I just wish how I pray we just continued with that 2013-17, then 17-22. By the time now we are coming now to end of 22, we could be talking about now the enterprise thing. So that's one thing. That's one thing on the development and the ideas and how to do things on the policy side. Now look at the other one. Our environment for business. My friend, it's not Nyamakema, not Marikiti, not Orokarao, where there is people being demolitions happening, Karatina everywhere. Especially where I come from. You really touch and kill and trample on what is, like sacrosanct for my people. Because my people say, if a business is working, it can survive a bad road. I can even do business, get some money, educate my children, hata kama nitaenda na ile taa ile ya Karambai. Yeah? So nothing is more important than our people than our SMEs, our MSMEs, our traders, our hawkers, our importers, that guy who gets from China. Then you create policy which, again, total contempt and disdain for that guy. It's like, he's a repugnant rapper, that Jamakima person who is only bringing counterfeit and all that kind of thing. Even people, I remember I was being told by someone, I will not name, people are competing for in a meeting at State House, who can finish this importers and hawkers problem, who can finish them quickly. So some guy said 3 months, he was told, no, you don't know your job. Another guy said, I can do this in 1 month. There you go. People are competing on how quickly you can finish our people. Mind you, even if you see those businesses, Moi Avenue, or Nyamakima, or Gikomba, or Marikiti, hardly would you see one person working on their own business. They have got at least one person whom they have hired on that business directly, and another one at home. Now you look at all the, the multiply effect, because I think we have destroyed somewhere in the region of 6 to 7 million businesses. We have destroyed, as Jubilee government, 6 to 7 million small businesses. Yeah, Now look at the multiply effect. That guy, he has got someone working with them. Then that guy has got, you know, a house worker at home. And then that guy, a house worker, has got a family, has got a kid. So they multiply. Why are we surprised? Why does Jubilee government get surprised that people don't want Jubilee? Why would they want Jubilee? Look at all the unhappy people, the chain of, the unit of unhappiness that you've created because of not knowing where we are as a country. We say, okay, my people in Kiambu here complain about eggs coming from other countries. We start to raise the issue of stop this. I was telling Munya when he was Minister for Trade, stop this eggs business. Now they have stopped it. Stop this milk business. By the time they stopped it, the importation, so much damage had been done. And then that time they say, you know, we have, you know, some flimsy reasons. We have signed the East African Cooperation Protocols, so we can't just impose tariffs, you know, conveniences, reasons out of conveniences. Now, onions, Ken here, where the chair of budget committee come from Ken. I told him, your people are dying because of importation of onions from Tanzania, so they have no market. Just onion, and it's very important, a part of the Kenyan economy. Now they have started to close, you know, the stable when the horse has already, you know, bolted, because that they have ultimately done it. Sure that they could have done it, but they kept on giving the president, you know, Your Excellency, we can't do because of this, because of that. Silly reasons. Sorry for that. Yeah, that you can't do because of that and that. And we said, no, you can do it. It's possible. You know, milk. When they give KCC 500 million toys, and the price went to go and mop up excess milk. The price from Nyandarua to Kiambu to wherever, the prices, because KCC was given money, they went there in there and they did something called open market operation. When they did it was too late. We had been abused and insulted because we had said this can be done. But then they came to do it, it was too late. Rice, Mwea, again, Kenya National Trading Corporation, 300 million only. The price of paddy when it shot up, and up to now, the Mwea rice, you've not had those kind of complaints. So they first started by denial, then they started by insulting us who are raising the issue. Then finally, after all that, they come in with a very feeble effort when it is too late. But even that too late still works, which shows that if we could have been listening to each other, we could not be where we are. Most of these issues,
Mheshimiwa, that you're raising basically bring to the fore that the economy is a very key factor, even in the current situation and even in the elections that will be held next year, God willing.
Absolutely.
So this topic of economy, or the debate that is currently ongoing in the country, has been, you know, categorized in different meanings, or how people are perceiving it, by very different camps. And I'll come to where particularly you stand as an individual and maybe your counterparts that you would support. But it has gone to an extent of a mockery being made of it. Are Kenyans, or even the political class, not taking this economic debate as seriously as they should be, or just playing, you know, to the political tune of it? You know, let's talk about the economy, lakini tuongee bottom up, bottom down, bottom, you know. Is it a mockery, or how seriously should people take it?
It is sad. It is sad, and that's why I'm saying the first thing we need to do is to stop all these euphemisms, names and plans and bottom ups and all that, and really focus on the issues. If you want bottom up, just keep bottom up to yourself now. When you come to people, tell them about the things we are discussing here with you. Let's talk about the rice, let's talk about the business. So things which mean something to the local Mwananchi. You cannot do a PhD class on Mwananchi. So what we need to do is, you know, everybody is trying to talk the same thing. It is what I would prefer to call Wanjikonomics. Yeah? You know, economics as it affects Wanjiko. So now what I would really ask all parties to do, first of all, it's good. And I want to thank the Deputy President because for staying on that line. Whether it is being discussed good or bad, fun, what, nini, at least we are not talking about positions and those other things. We are talking about the economy. Now what we need to do is to digest and to dissect it for the people. There are so many things which we have, even the House of Nation where I belong, which we have not explained to the people. So we need, because this is a big problem. First of all, you cannot overburden the people. We need to digest it for them and tell, because the person in Nyamakema, bottom up is a very good thing. But again, what does he want to know? Am I going to be harassed? Is a Chinese guy going to come from EU, where they manufacture things, and open a shop as a competitor in Nyamakema? That is the bottom up they want to hear, isn't it? Yeah? A farmer want to know whether they can get subsidized fertilizer as part of bottom up. So we need to ask yourself, bottom up, what does it mean for that person? Because it's not meat you can fry or roast and give to the people. So what does it mean for me as an individual, as our Wanjiko down there? So we need to move from this bottom-up debate to the Wanjikonomics, from bottom-up to Wanjikonomics, so that we ask ourselves now, bottom-up is how we think we are going to achieve the means. It is not the end. Bottom-up is a means to an end. That end is changing the life of that Wanjiko. And that Wanjiko does not require vagueness. They want to know things that affect them sector by sector, area by area, individual by individual. They want to know. Let us now serve. Yeah? This food called bottom up has been cooking for so long. Let's now take it to the people and show the people now this is what it means for you. It means what? It means less taxes in this particular area. Oh, that's nice. I can connect. It means that now we will not borrow because, for example, we are going to sell the strategic parastatals, so that we generate money to pay off our debts. And so we need to have that specific, we are going to have this, one of the things which is my pet, availing capital for business. So that business can, it is only in Kenya, Jackie, that you expect someone to sleep at night, dream about an idea, and then be rich and have money to start a business. In other countries, it is enough for you to have a good idea. There is somebody else with the money to help you too. So one of the things, that's what I call the capital trap. One of the traps that are trapping us as a nation. For me, bottom up, if it just solves this capital trap whereby somebody there has got this wonderful thing about how to manufacture something, and they know they can go and knock in this government office and work with a check and a framework for how that idea can be, especially on the manufacturing. Because it's okay also to support traders, but ultimately it is either we manufacture or we perish. Yeah, we get to stop this importing of toothpicks and everything, because our people have got wonderful ideas. Our people can even make aeroplanes and all that. Imagine if we release the energy of all these people. Imagine if we release the creativity of all these people and say, your work is only to imagine, to create. Yeah, the rest you leave to me. And it's not just from government. Even private sector has got enough resources here and out there, international investors. If only we create an environment whereby people now say, yours is to think, yours is to create, somebody else, either government or capital markets, come with a check and help you to take over. So this whole issue of providing capital, I wish we just dwell on it, as opposed to this generic, bottom-up discussion, which now ends up getting muddled and mixed and all that. So we are in the process of doing that, and simplifying, and let everybody go with a piece of the bottom-up. In a way, they understand it to their own, situation. And I think it's possible, because ultimately, if you can make all 50 million Kenyans productive, if everybody will be productive, because they want to be productive. There is no nation. There's nothing called a nation. It is these 50 million people. Make them productive. Now, how many people are productive? Hardly, 1%, 2% are productive. The rest are just observers, bystanders. So for me, the bottom up also is how can each of these 50 million people, if everybody today was productive, kusukuma gurudumu, of the economy, then the economy will do very well. So the challenge of all these big terminologies, bottom up and complex things, is how do we make all the 50 million Kenyans productive and contributing to this economy? What stops them today? Because if today we say, now I have issued a declaration, I have issued executive order, tomorrow everybody must be productive to this economy. Of course everybody will be productive. Everyone wants to do that. And if that happens, then the country is good. But the issue is that not everybody is productive. Majority of the people are not productive. They are not in that pushing of the gurudum. What are the factors that stops them from that being on that production line, producing? Then we now go cleaning those cobwebs, one after the other. We just see how many people have we gotten into jobs, how many people have we gotten into productive sectors. Then all of a sudden you see things are just moving. I am telling you, right now, nothing is moving in this country.
But Mheshimiwa, you would agree that those who are skeptical, of this idea would argue that perhaps it is lip service that is being given to Kenyans. How do you ensure that this actually works?
Actually, that's a very good question, Jackie, because I've said and I've said again, and it's something I said to my team also, within the Tanga, that we need to have something called implementation matrix. Yeah? Until we provide Kenyans with an implementation matrix. This is how I will do it on day 1, on day 2, on day 10, on month 5, on year 2, on year 5. Yeah? So we can have that, so that you see now, for here, by the time I'm doing this one, this will happen. By the time I'm doing month 14, I will do this one, this result will have trickled in. So it is possible, it is doable. I have a dream, by the way, we are going to fix these things. We are going to fix, it's a communication problem. Because what an implementation matrix does is to help you to connect with your audience through proper communication. I am going to ensure that that communication is fixed. And I've got this dream that if we implement this idea properly, and we stop this state capture where every government policy is captured because somebody somewhere wants this policy to go like this, not like this, not because of national good, but because of some other queer considerations. We stop the state capture. For me, that's very important. Our policy must be freed from state capture. And where state capture means, actually it's not state capture, it's private, private interest capturing the state. That is what we call state capture. That ideally, in normal circumstances, I would have put the policy in this way. But let me now tweak it, because if I tweak it somehow, it will help my private interest. That one is one of the most dangerous things we have, the most risky things. We need to unyoke our policy from private interest. We need to stop this state capture so that when I make a policy decision and I'm a policy maker, it is taken prima facie on the face of it that is what's good. But now we are in this culture whereby, I saw today somewhere, Bonnie Mwangi, who is my friend and your friend, is a tweet. There's a bill coming by Senator Kwamboka about that all the school children should be given milk.
Maziwa Nyayo, as it was called.
It's a good thing. For me, it's creating demand. If it comes from National Assembly, in fact, I'm thinking I'll talk to Kwamboka and I introduce it concurrent in the National Assembly. Because not because of just children being healthy, which is very good, but also in creating demand for our farmers. Yeah? But now Bonnie Mwangi tweeted there and said, if you know, you know. Of course, if you have got at least a brain, you know where Boniface is. And those are things we say we need to have a culture as a nation, whereby if I take any decision, it's taken at face value, not starting to interrogate, maybe Moses Kuria is doing this because he has got some 50 cows he was seen buying yesterday, so he's going to sell the milk. And if that milk is bought from Moses Kuria, it's good. Still in the economy. But we are in this culture of mistrust, which is not without foundation, which is not without basis, which is a reaction of the state capture you've seen. Once bitten, twice shy, because it has happened again and again. So even what is done from the goodness of the heart ends up being suspected, So, it's unfortunate. So that one we do. We simplify this bottom up. We create an implementation matrix to show next year, when we get into government, exactly how we are going to implement it and achieve those milestones. That to me is part of 1, preparation for implementation, and 2, also communication, because you have to communicate. Then once we do that, we're going to have a very successful country. Then the other thing is, I do hope, even as we look at bottom up, I have my own version also, which I've discussed with the Deputy President, that's part of my demands, if you call it that way, that we need to have a top-down also coexisting with the bottom up. Because, the bottom up is a wonderful thing, but do not underestimate the complexity of the implementation. We are going to do it. It's going to be a very delicate project to implement because we're doing so many stakeholders. And that may take time, and is what we call the project risks. When you're dealing with all the bottom, the people in the bottom, you have so many stakeholders, and it is such a complex project, and it has got its own risks. So to de-risk, to mitigate that risk and minimize the risk for the economy, I have proposed and I'm going to push for some elements of top-down to coexist with elements of bottom-up. Then you can meet somewhere in the middle. For example, why are we so much of an inward-looking economy? We have got how many companies, how many Kenyan logos can you find even in Tanzania? If I get out of East African community, you go and centimeter there, Zambia or DRC or Ghana, which is a anglophone like we are, or Sierra Leone or Gambia, forget even francophone, anglophone. You will not find any Kenyan logo of a company, of a business, because we are here with our kitchen fights. So our vision has become a tunnel vision. Whereas we are endowed with human resources and a lot of knowledge, and I think even capital, that we should be colonizing Africa. Bottom up is good and we'll do it, but it will not colonize Africa economically. What will colonize Africa is an element of top down, whereby we deliberately grow enterprises. And we stop this jealousy of fighting big enterprises. Well, I think I'm wrong. SportPesa was one Kenyan brand in the Premier League. Why can't I see that element of that? It is good to see Everton in a SportPesa shirt. For me, I was feeling the joy of a child to see SportPesa on your Premier League screen. It gives me something. And my dream is that we are going to buy companies. We are going to buy Kenyan companies if I have my way. In the next government, Utasikia, the biggest coffee company in Germany is owned by Kenyans, or by Kenyan government even. Yeah, because we need to grow our enterprises, whether private enterprises or public enterprises, and release them to go and hunt. Yeah, like in those old days where warriors would be released to go and hunt and bring home the loot. We need to release our company. That's what China has done. That is what the Europeans do all the time. That is what the Americans have done. That's what even South Africa have done with their castle and all the brands, the DSTVs and what have you. Now Kenya is a handful. We have Equity, we have SportPesa. We killed it because of jealousy. Sheer jealousy. We keep killing everything because of parochial jealousy of whom. Why can't you let that company, if you tell them, force them, I don't even want you to do business here, but I'm giving you the money and the government support that you need. I want to hear you in Nigeria. Why can't you have Kenyan, Saloba Hotel, Nigeria, Saloba, Nigeria? Why can't I see it on CNN? Yeah? Why can't I see a food company? Why can't I have Brookside in Cape Verde? Then I say, oh, we are doing well. Let's say I've gone for assignment in Cape Verde and I find Brookside Milk. How nice will it feel? If you can't do it, because that will come from now deliberately promoting Kenyan enterprises so that they can go Yoda. You go to Africa. It has taken Safaricom how many years to go here? Ethiopia. Yeah? Ethiopia. Yeah? And if people like Mishuki were conservative, even M-Pesa will not be the global brand that it is. So we need to open up our thinking, think a bit global. And if we mix, because I'm calling this top down, because if I create this big enterprise, which is going out there, first of all, there are chances that also Kenyans will also get jobs in those companies out there. So we create more jobs. But more importantly, because these huge monsters which I want to build, and my target is 100, I want to create a situation whereby 100 Kenyan enterprises, I find them in Cameroon, I find them in Nigeria, I find them in Egypt. Imagine Kerrygate. The water company. If Kerrygate is not in Egypt, don't think about Egypt. I'm a fairly traveled man. Just let them be in Cairo. Cairo has got a daytime population of 7 million. Daytime means a nighttime of like 3 million, means 5 million people get from outside Cairo into Cairo. It means they're coming for work. They're not coming to idle around. Imagine if all of them buy a carrying gate. Imagine if I go to Egypt and I find carrying gate. Just in Cairo only. Yes. Yeah? How nice. Yeah? That's the kind of thing now we also need to tamper that thing of big thinking. We mix it with the bottom up. But you can't do that because some people fear, carrying gate will be so big. Then it will challenge me. We need to stop this parochial, village kind of mentality for people who should be administered, for people who should be thinking globally.
All right. I want to switch gears a bit, Mheshimiwa, and probably get your take on something that happened recently, which is to do with the sharing of funds within parties that were released by the Registrar of Political Parties. Now, within the rank and file of Jubilee, and as you have put it, the ties have been so severed that now you are openly tanga-tanga, but still a member of parliament through Jubilee. How exactly will this work in as far as, this money, itagawanywaje?
First of all, for us in Jubilee, this problem is not there because we live in an autocracy. And nobody is bothered with that money. We wrapped Tuju with the Registrar of Political Parties and the Kenya National Audit Office, the Auditor General. But us, it's over. Yeah, we don't even ask. We are not. I'm watching TV like a layman, like my villagers also. John Buddy with Sifuna and Kalonzo, and these are the one fighting about money. Then as a Jubilee member say, money, or even as we get money. Oh, where does ours go? Because we gave up on this. We see it there because we gave up on. We have no oversight. We are not stakeholders as members of Jubilee. It is a total autocracy there.
Jubilee is an autocracy.
It's an autocracy. It is a stamped autocracy, which we give up on. We don't care how the money is spent. We don't care who gets it. We don't care how much it is. We don't care nothing. We don't care. We totally estranged in terms of that because we were muzzled and we were made hopeless and helpless and we've moved on. What is amazing is it is year 4 of being whipped. 2017 whips, 2018 whips, 2019 whips, 2020, 2021, year 5 now even. But coming back to the issue of sharing of these monies. One, I think I'm very happy we have this problem in NASA about sharing money because we need, and I'm upcoming party leader, so I've got an interest in this matter. We need to change the law to govern how the political parties fund was not supposed to be given at the pleasure of the executive. It is a formula, 0.2% of the way we have got devolution money. Then we have got CDM money. We need to enforce that money is given. Even if it's all given to NASA or Jubilee, fine, but the principle should be followed. Now what happens when we're in budget, it is 0 and then gratuitously, or which other term did NASA use to say they have given Kalonzo money, I don't know what, ex gratia. Yeah? So even that money, it comes as an ex gratia from Treasury, from the Exchequer. Because we don't follow the 0.2% that is stipulated in the Political Parties Act, and that needs to be fixed. That's what should worry people more. It's not about how we share money. The Treasury has already robbed us as parties' money. But instead of now going to Treasury and saying, why have you not followed the law? The way it is 0.2%. We come and the little that is there, now Kalonzo is fighting about the little thing. The last I cared to find out, I thought we were supposed to be fighting for power. Now, as we are on the path of ideas, it's better about bottoms. It's still about ideas, not about power. So, this is our friends from NASA. Not only are they not talking about ideas, at least if you don't talk about ideas, on the worst, talk about power. They're not even not talking about power sharing. Now they have sunk so deep, they're talking about money sharing. You ask yourself, how did you find ourselves here? That instead of Wiper Manifesto, on growing the economy bottom up, it is how much money to Wiper and how much to this one. And then now Sifuna says, this money was because of presidential vote. We have sunk so low. We've been made to. I am not interested in that debate because it's a wrong debate. The debate should be one. Let's select the political parties by following the spirit and the letter of what the law says about how much money should be given to political parties, and then we amend the act to provide for coalitions. Because I also find it unfair, and I'm here. I'm with the junior partners in the NASA coalition. If my party next year decides to support William Ruto for president, which most likely it will, now what happens now to, because UDA, if William Ruto is on UDA and me I'm on another party, my party, and I've contributed to that presidential, which formula do we use now legally to, because it's like I'm being punished for supporting. And that needs to be addressed. So in fact, that's something I'm going to take up with the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee in Parliament, because those are things we should be dealing with, you know, fundamental issues. But the issue of sijui Kalonzo amepata ex gratia 70 million ni utoto. You know, it's a discussion we should not be having. Yeah, we should be discussing issues on principles and on the bigger principle about how can we have strong institution of political parties, and ultimately realizing that coalitions are a reality. They are here with us. So I wish them well, but it's not a game we are interested in, because first of all, as we don't even know about that money. Yeah, it is like rich kids showing off their cars. Sisi maskini wa Jubilee tulizoea kukaa bila those monies. In any case, looking at the future, we want to have a more sober and more structured way of dealing political parties.
Speaking of parties, Mheshimiwa, at present, you said your party. Which is your party at present and moving forward? We are seeing a lot, you know, changing within the Moses Kuria
yeah, I know,
standing.
I know. Fasten your seatbelts. The speed is
From 0
it's bumpy, you know. I understand, but it's because 2021 is that year when someone has to fix their 2022. So on paper, you know, I'm a member of Jubilee.
Yes.
I'm an unhappy, sulking, disgruntled, grumpy member of the Jubilee party. Yeah, so that's not a question.
You're really not a happy camper.
I'm not happy in that family, you know. Mommy and daddy fight all the time, you know. Daddy scolds us and shouts at us in public meetings. We can say a lot about that, you know. So, but since you don't want to create problems in your home every time, so you're big enough now. What I'm saying is, personally, me as Moses Kuria, I'm big enough. I know I wish daddy and mommy well. They are fighting, but I want to go to Keno, and have my small, to 1 bedroom or studio. There is okay. I'll grow from there, and that's what I'm doing. You know, I've been associated with the People's Empowerment Party, but unfortunately, you know, first we had a very successful run. Since December, Jacque, I've participated in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. People's Empowerment Party has been involved in 7 by-elections, out of which we won 2. 2 out of 7 for a new initiative in 6 months. It's nothing but a starting record. Because in December 15, 2020, we went to Lakeview in Naivasha for MCA by-election. We didn't do well. We went to Kahawendani in Kiambu the same day. We lost by 100 votes. 100 to Jubilee. We were in Katuri, in Muranga. We won. A young lady, Esther Moyaki, won. So 1 out of 3, second one, I'm not one of those people who cry, I was stolen, I don't belong to that thinking. I would have claimed because of, you know, but mshindi ni yule mwenye kutangazwa. That is my rule in politics. Mshindi ni yule mwenye kutangazwa. So we moved to March, 4th of March. We were in Huruma, in Eldoret. We became number 3. After Jubilee, we were in London, where it was very fiercely contested. Again, we became a very strong number 3 after the 2 bulls, UDA and Jubilee. In Hell's Gate, in Naivasha, I withdrew my candidate in writing. But it was too late to remove him from the ballot paper. Despite removing them, he became number 3. It means that people were sending me a message. There's a message people were sending me. Then now we came to May 18th, and I was in Juja. Huh? 11 candidates. We won with 56%, and the Jubilee candidate 25%. So it's not like even Kiamba where it was, neck to neck. It was overwhelming and a huge margin. So now what happens is after that, then we decided to support our Chama Mwenza, sister party UDA. So we withdrew our candidate because of consideration of unity, within our political movement, which is very important also. And not only did I withdraw the candidate, but I also became offered to be the team leader and the face and the strategist of the UDA campaign in Kiamba. But along the way, coming to the People's Empowerment Party, we differed with the founders because we had joined this party till founders. This party has been associated with many people. My friend Maina Jenga, the late Gigi Karaoke. So two things. We differed mostly on some things which for us were very radical. I still say that, and I thought it's unfair because this team of my wonderful lady called Joyce Mwambingu, Secretary General of the People's Empowerment Party, and good gentleman Watson Simiu is the chairman. We had a nice, easy cause right before they invited me. Then they realized that my ideas are kidogo out of the box. Yeah. So, for example, I'll just give you an example. I wanted a movement whereby, and I'm still working on that. I'm still having some resistances, but I'm still working. If you are above 40 years, you cannot vie on our tickets for MCA or women rep. Because internally we reserve those positions to grow the youth. Not just say, oh, we are pro-youth. So they become like our leadership college. Okay, but you are 40, you think of MP, senator, or governor. If that is quite startling, if you think about things from inside the box. To have nominations which are all electronic. Because if my show uses M-Pesa, see, someone who uses M-Pesa is an intelligent person. Do they just become stupid when we come to voting? To have young people take the party and run with it. Nobody's, no zero one to a titles. So, and then of course then some values, principles and ideologies. So I just thought I was being unfair to my partners within the People's Empowerment Party. And it's normal. I said, it's better sooner than later to create my own house. So we are now on the course to finalizing with the registrar on Chama cha Kazi. And Chama cha Kazi, our slogan is Kazi na Pesa. That has been my slogan even before in 2017, you know that, for my re-election. And our symbol approved now by the registrar is the apron. And our colors are blue, red, and white. I'll tell you why all this. Because of three things. We are about three things. Chama cha Kazi, we are our Labour Party version. And it's about the dignity of labor. People should have some dignity. Yeah, people should have. It was easy for us to start thinking of work just as a slogan. For us, our name is work. Chama cha Kazi. It's not our tagline or our slogan or our motto. We are about work, and it's about the dignity of work. 2, Kazi na Pesa is about the sanctity of the free enterprise. Something for me is very important. I've told you all those Yamakima people and all that. People want to work. But why are people here even? Why do people come from rural areas to Nairobi? Kuna kazi mingi tulaja huko. Kuchuna kahawa sijui nini. Digging trenches, The value of work ultimately lies in enterprise. People work ultimately so that they can get money. So kazi na pesa. Yeah? I'll work, no problem, but pay me with money. The kazi na pesa. And then the apron for us I'm very proud of the apron as our symbol because it's unifying. Jacque, you could have come to interview me with an apron. You would be okay. A pilot can be in an apron. It's okay. A doctor apron. My guy who parks on Northern Bypass and sells me pineapples, and he has a day job. He can put an apron. Yeah. A doctor can, what's a doctor's nurse? It's an apron, you know. So I find that because people have been accusing us of being divisive, rich versus poor, or what. So I thought as Chama cha Kazi, we need to have a unifying symbol which can be from Pilot up there to Mama Boga down there to mtu ya Jua Kali hapa on this road. Yeah. All of them can be united by one thing, and I think that unity is something we need. So that's why we are. I am looking forward to hitting the country, to sell our policies, to recruit people, and I think we have our space. We have our space, and coalitions are a reality in this country. If you see someone, Jacque, who is telling you that you're going to have monolithic parties, even this time, even ODM, which has been monolithic in some regions, even this time, I am going to have a lot of members of parliament from Lunyans. Yeah? Well, people want an alternative. People want an option. People are pro-choice. People want choice. People don't want to be heralded like Kondo into one thinking. People want ideas to come and compete so that ultimately we can be able to get what is good for this country.
In the same breath, in the spirit of, as we wind up, Mheshimiwa, in the spirit of new ideas, ideologies, transformation, is it time that probably the country has a fresh breath of air from the topmost seats in the country down to the very bottom? Some would argue, Mheshimiwa, what is this that, you know, the same politicians we have seen over time collectively have done to change the country and still want seats in 2022?
You see, Jackie, like in a game, politics is matures also with time. Yeah, that's why I'm talking about mentoring youth through MCA, Women Up, and all that. To produce another Moses Kuria, you need another 40 years. And that's a reality. You know, we can be idealistic and theoretical about this, but to produce someone, that's why sometimes I'm not even happy from where I come from. You know, in other regions, I have seen people, you know, people are helped to grow. In our region, if you start growing, you are chapward, and then you have to start by yourself and all that kind of thing. So if it was in those countries whereby we have got leadership colleges, and you know, you have got party structures which help young people to thrive and grow, we don't have mentorship in this country. Actually, even for my party, I'm saying it's not a political party, it's a school. And by the way, I'm starting from next weekend. I'm rolling out all over the country trainings how to win in elections for beginners. Call it winning for beginners. You
have the secret formula.
Yeah, I have the secret formula, and all I can do is to share so that young people can say, "Oh, now at least I have an idea of how I can be stop." It's called de-risking politics. I'm from the financial industry, and risk is a very important part in our industry. And there's something called de-risking, minimizing the risk. So what I'm trying to do is to de-risk politics by providing people, engineers and doctors and media people like Jacque and other people who would never touch politics because they say politics is dirty. So in this environment where everybody fears politics, in this environment where politics is a risky business, in this environment where you don't have structures to grow people, where do you expect a mushroom of a president to come from other than people who have been there? So what you're dealing with is not the disease. You are now dealing with the symptom. The disease is that you don't have structures to grow people, where you can have people, revered people like James Mwangi, one of my people I really admire. Why is James Mwangi not vying for president of this country? Because politics he deals with risk every day, and he has not seen a mechanism for de-risking politics. Even time I was working in banking, me and him could discuss about operational risk or credit risk or market risk, But there's no de-risking, there's no mechanisms for risk management in politics because you don't have structures, you don't train people, you don't develop people. Can you imagine how many trainings have you attended in your life as a journalist? You've been in numerous, you can't even count. Because to make you a good person, to make you the premier journalist that you are. In politics now it's zero. Everybody is an expert. In where I come from it's called Kududo. You just go one way or the other, As long as there's no formula. And it's madness. And I'm saying, even if politics is madness, it needs to have a formula. We need to have a formula for the madness. That's why I'm on this business, going around the country, training young people, telling them how to win, telling them how to manage media and how to manage mobilization. Things which for me, thank God, I've learned them the hard way. Spanning over 30 years since I was a treasurer of SONU in the University Lobby, elected. Yeah. So what else can I do? What more can I give to the young people of this country, except shortening their learning curve, so they don't have to go through the 30 years. And you can't call me I'm the most successful politician. But the little I've learned, let's share with young people so that tomorrow we can have an engineer saying, you know, my name is Engineer Patrick Obad or something, and I want to be your president. And people will not laugh. Imagine if Patrick Obad would come and say that I want to be president. You have just their name. People will laugh at him. Or James Mwangi. People who anajua mambo ya pesa. Because, you know, we are not kidding that, you know, we need to have politics to have some formula as well. Even people who are doctors, engineers, and I've got people who have come up, you know. I put in an online registration portal for the training. I am seeing Dr. so-and-so, engineers, so I'm really looking forward to showing, because politics is important. You can't all child politics and say it's dirty, because ultimately, journalism is a wonderful career, but it does not determine how much taxes we pay.
Yes, absolutely.
Ultimately, it's politics which determines our taxes. Yes. So I really look forward to putting in that contribution. To answer your question, it's because we don't have structures that will be able to produce a novice president or an outsider president, yeah, or a president who is not from mainstream politics. I'm a banker of local and international experience. My friend, from joining politics first, before even I apply for to know, I have to learn ABC of stupidity.
ABC of stupidity.
Yeah, because we have made it like that is the essence. That is the key ingredients for success in politics. We need to change that, and I'm changing that, Jacque.
We will keep an eye on that, Mheshimiwa. Let's end it on that note, and we thank you so much. Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria on the Jacque Maribe Show, and we hope to see you again and talk some more.
Looking forward.
We don't be a stranger.
Looking forward.
On the show.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
My name is Honorable Moses Kuria, and you are watching the Jacque Maribe Show.
This is the Jacque Maribe Show.